Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Wednesday, November 24th, 2021. Monster show today because this is the last show of the week. We'll recap yesterday's college basketball, NBA, and NHL games, look ahead to tonight's games, and same for the Mls Playoffs, as well as Thanksgiving, Black Friday, then Saturday and Sunday. And in college football, the same thing. And then the NFL, we will preview and pick all the week 12 games with the exception of Monday night. And then news and notes. And then best bet said the Fab Five this week. It's the Turkey 22 because it's Thanksgiving weekend and we're going to go big and bold. So we're going to have 11 big picks in the NFL and 11 big picks in college football. We'll start with college basketball today, though, as we will recap last night's results and we will look ahead to everything going on today and then the rest of the week. Like I said, no podcast on Friday. Vermont over Evansville, 58-49. Chattanooga over Covenant, 139. James Madison over Wright State, 78-76. Southern Utah over Yale, 88-85 in overtime. Middle Tennessee over Rider, 60-54. App State over Akron, 57-45. Towson over Penn, 76-61. Texas A&M over Butler, 57-50. Drexel over Charlotte, 67-55. Murray State over Long Beach State, 80-43. Bowling Green over Milwaukee, 82-68. Mercer over Bucknell, 78-68. New Hampshire over Quinnipiac, 84-69. Wisconsin over number 12 Houston, 65-63. Northwestern over Georgia, 78-62. Oakland over Rice, 76-73. Liberty over Bethune-Cookman, 59-51. Toledo over Tulane, 68-67. Kent State over George Washington, 77-69. CFB Austin over Buffalo, 79-78. Number 14, Illinois over Kansas State, 72-64. Miami of Ohio over Defiance, 99-47. Nevada over George Mason, 88-69. Norfolk State over Regent, 95-20. Merrimack over Hartford, 75-60. NC Central over Warren Wilson, 110-32. Tennessee Tech over Lipscomb, 88-77. IUPUI over Spalding, 61-41. SC Upstate over SC State, 82-78. UMBC over American, 98-67. Marshall over Louisiana, 93-79. Central Con over Maine, 64-56. Indiana over Jackson State, 70-35. St. John's over St. Francis Brooklyn, 76-70. South Carolina over Wofford, 85-74. Lehigh over Columbia, 79-72. So best bet won by a half point yesterday. UNC over UNC Asheville, 72-53. Florida Gulf Coast over Rhode Island, 67-66. St. Peter's over Long Island, 64-62. Bellarmine over Central Michigan, 76-69. Virginia over Providence, 58-40. Delaware over Fordham, 81-71. Southern over Ecclesia, 109-53. St. Mary's over Oregon, 62-50. Coastal Carolina over Valpo, 64-61. East Tennessee State over Missouri State, 77-76. South Dakota over Presentation, 99-58. Oral Roberts over Rogers State, 91-31. Texas Rio Grande over Cal State Fullerton, 72-67. Wake over Kennesaw, 92-61. Texas Tech over Omaha, 96-40. St. Louis over Illinois State, 82-76. North Alabama over Oakwood, 105-50. Nebraska over Tennessee State, 79-73. Number 13, Arkansas over Cincinnati, 73-67. Washington over South Dakota State, 87-76. Number 1, Gonzaga over number 2, UCLA, 83-63. Seattle over Pacific Lutheran, 89-40. Stanford over NC A&T, 79-65. San Jose State over Northern Colorado, 75-74. Portland over Portland State, 69-54. Notre Dame over Chaminade, 90-64. And Sacramento State over UC Davis, 75-63. All right, now we look ahead to a busy day today in college basketball. 11 o'clock a.m., you got Evansville, Akron, Gulf Case Showcase from Hertz Arena. My projection for this game is Akron by 7, and FanDuel has this game at, let's see here, Akron 5.5, total 122.5. I'm going to take the over. Next up, Yale, Milwaukee, Fort Myers tip-off, Suncoast Credit Sun Arena. My projection for this game is Yale by 6 3/4. And DraftKings has this at Yale by 4. So I'm going to lay it with Yale. Next up, North Dakota FIU. My projection is FIU by 4.25. And FanDuel has it at 9.5. I'm taking North Dakota in the points. 12 o'clock, Jacksonville State Drexel from Baha Mar. My projection is Drexel by 5/8. And it is Drexel by... Or no, Jacksonville State by 3.5. I'm taking Drexel plus the 3.5 and plus 140 on the money line. Next up is Wright State and Long Beach State from Mo Kent. My projection is Wright State by 8.25, and it's Wright State by 9.5. The total is 149.5. I'll take the over. Louisiana College Grambling, we can skip. From Imperial Arena in the battle for Atlantis. Loyola Chicago, Michigan State. Welcome back, Battle of Atlantis. You were missed. My projection for this game is Michigan State by 3.5, and it is 2.5. Total's 138.5. Tough one. Tough total. This, I think, is going to be an under because of Loyola Chicago and their defensive prowess. Ryder Bucknell from Hard Rock. That's at 12:30. My projection is Ryder by 1.75. They got to check Vegas Insider because Ryder. It is, let's see here. Ryder Bucknell. It is Ryder by 3, total of 146.5. So, let's see. Wait, did I say Bucknell is favored or Ryder in the game? Ryder. 146.5 is the total. I'll take the over. Mount St. Vincent and Holy Cross at 1 o'clock. We can skip, as well as Louisiana College Grambling. Maryland Eastern Shore Campbell. My projection is Campbell by a whopping 30.25, and it's 17.5. I'm laying it with Campbell. Vermont App State from Hertz Arena. My projection is Vermont by 3.5, and it is... Ooh, the line got taken off of FanDuel. Let's see if DraftKings has it. 5 and 124.5 for Vermont. We'll go with the over. Southern Utah and Bowling Green from Suncoast Credit at 1:30. My projection is Southern Utah by 6.25, and it is 2.5. I'm laying the 2.5 at Southern Utah. Washington College, Maryland Navy, we can skip. Fairleigh Dickinson and NJIT, so New Jersey battle at 2 o'clock. Here, my projection is NJIT by 11. And we got here NJIT and Dickinson. Here we go. NJIT is a 7-point favorite. Total is 143. I'm going to lay the 7 with NJIT. Central Arkansas and New Orleans. My projection is New Orleans 6. And we have to go to DraftKings for this one, and they have it at 7.5. Total is 151.5. I'll take the over. Coppin State and Canisius. My projection is Coppin State by 1.75. And it's Canisius 10.5. I'm taking Coppin State plus 10.5 and plus 450 straight up. That's wild. Stony Brook and Fairfield. My projection is Stony Brook by 5, and it is Fairfield 2.5, total 134.5. I'm taking Stony Brook at the points and plus 126 on the money line. Battle of Atlantis. 2:30 ESPN, number 22 Uconn, number 19 Auburn. Fantastic game from Imperial Arena. My projection's Uconn by 4, and it is Uconn by 2.5. Totals 143.5. I'll take the over. On ESPN2 from Michelob Ultra Arena, Maui Invitational, number 12, Houston and Oregon. My projection is Oregon by 1/4. And it's Houston by 4.5. Oh, I actually like Oregon getting the 4.5 and plus 188 in the bounce back spot here. I like it a lot. Next up, Tulane and Valparaiso. How come I don't see that game on here? It's bizarre. Tulane and Valparaiso. It's supposed to be going today, Tulane and Valpo. Oh, they moved it up to 5:30. For some reason, they moved that game up. But we'll do that projection while we're on it. It's a 5:30 game. The game got moved. Baja Mar, I have Tulane projected 11 3/4, and it is and for some reason the line's not up on FanDuel either. Maybe DraftKings has it. DraftKings, I think, does a better job of college basketball, but I just like to use FanDuel because I think that they're a little bit better overall. Yeah. But it says 2:30 on FanDuel, which is really weird. Tulane, 4.5, total 132.5. I'm going to lay with Tulane. James Madison, Murray State from Mo Kent. My projection for this game is Murray by 1 3/4. And it's 4.5. I'm going to take James Madison in the points. Cal Poly, Idaho, 3 o'clock. From J. Sarah Pavilion. My projection's Idaho by 3/4. And it's Cal Poly 8.5. Totals 132.5. I'm taking Idaho plus 8.5 and plus 310 on the money line. Middle Tennessee and Mercer from Hard Rock. My projection here is Mercer 4.5. And it's 3.5. Totals 134.5. I'll take the over. A couple games here you can skip. Elizabethton and Loyola Maryland and Carver College, Tennessee Martin. Next up is Lamar UTSA. My projection here is UTSA by 11 3/4. And it is 3.5. I'm going to lay the 3.5 with UTSA. Western Illinois and Eastern Michigan. My projection is Western Illinois by 8 7/8. And it is Eastern Michigan by 2.5. I'm taking Western plus the 2.5 and plus 116 on the money line. St. Francis, Pennsylvania, Cornell at 4 o'clock. My projection here is Cornell by 18.5, and it is 3.5. I'm laying a 3.5 with Cornell. VMI Presbyterian from Lake Fort Arena. My projection is VMI by 2 3/4, and it is VMI by 2.5. Totals 135.5. I'll take the over. Denver Air Force. My projection is Denver by 3/4, and it's Air Force by 7.5. Totals 125.5. I'm taking Denver plus the 7.5 and plus 280 to win straight up. A couple we can skip. St. Catherine and Cal State Northridge and Malloy and Hofstra. Rice Fordham from Hertz Arena. My projection for this, it's a 5 o'clock game. Rice 9.5. And it's Rice 5.5. I'm going to lay the 5.5 with Rice. Next up, Maui, 5 o'clock ESPN, Wisconsin, St. Mary's. My projection is St. Mary's by 6 1/4, and it is Wisconsin by 1.5. I'm taking St. Mary's plus 1.5, and it's actually a pick 'em on the money line, minus 110, straight up. Alabama and Western Kentucky. My projection is Western Kentucky by 24, and it is 19.5. I'm going to lay to 19.5 at Western Kentucky. William and Mary and Radford. My projection is Radford by 7, and it's 5.5. Totals 132.5. I'm taking the over. All right, Battle for Atlantis on ESPN2. VCU Syracuse. My projection is Syracuse by 5. And it's 5.5. Total is 129.5. I like the under. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. Nichols and Utah Valley from Jay Serra at 5:30. My projection is Nichols by a quarter. And it's Utah Valley by 2.5. Total is 139.5. I'm taking Nichols plus the points and plus 122 to win. Toledo and Coastal Carolina from Baja Mar. I wonder if they changed the times for these two games. Because Toledo Coastal. That's very strange. Let's check here. Toledo Coastal. It's now at 8 o'clock. But we'll do it now. The projection for this game is Toledo 8 3/4. And it is Toledo 7.5. Total is 145.5. I'm taking the over, but I don't feel good about it. George Washington and Missouri State from Mo Kent. My projection is Mo State by 8. And it is Mo State by 10.5. I'm going to take George Washington in the points. 6 o'clock, you got Buffalo and Illinois State. And from Hard Rock, my projection is Buffalo by 16 and 5/8. And it's 9.5. I'm going to lay 9.5 with Buffalo. Seton Hall Cal from Suncoast Credit Sun Arena. My projection is Seton Hall by 11 and 7/8. And it is Seton Hall 12, total 131. I'm going to take the over. 7 o'clock, you have Tarleton at number 20, Michigan on the Big Ten Network. My projection is Michigan by 27.5. And it's 21, and I'm going to lay the 21.5 with Michigan. Number 25, Xavier in Iowa State from Barclays Center. My projection's Xavier by 11. And it is... Xavier and Iowa State. It is Iowa State. That's not right. Iowa State should not be -8 over Xavier. Tell me that's wrong. That's bizarre. Don't tell me that's actually the line. Because that should not be that line. Okay, all right, Xavier's favored by 8. I think this was a mistake by the books. That they list Iowa State by 8. Maybe they made that same mistake with Georgia the other day. So 8 and 136.5. I'm going to lay to 8 with Xavier. Washington and Nevada from Stanford Pentagon. My projection is Washington by 2.25, and it is let's see what this line is. Nevada 3.5 total, 149. Why on earth? Come on, Nevada's very overrated. I know they won yesterday, but still. Wrong team's favor. Give me Washington. They're going to win. LeTourneau, Texas State, NC Wesleyan, UNC Greensboro, Columbia International, Gardner-Webb. We can skip. all those games. Southern Miss and UNC Wilmington. My projection from Dahlberg Arena is Wilmington by 1 1/8. And it is Wilmington by 2.5, total 133.5. I'm going to take the over. Hampton and South Florida. My projection for this game is South Florida by 11 1/8. Meanwhile, it's 10.5 and 131.5. I'll take the over. UMass Lowell and UMass. My projection is UMass by 3/4, and it is UMass 9.5, total 142.5. I'm taking Lowell plus the 9.5. Maybe they win outright. I don't know. Colgate and Harvard. My projection for this game is Harvard by 5. And it is Colgate by 2.5, total 147.5. Wrong team's favorite. Give me Harvard plus the 2.5 and plus 132 on the money line. Boston University and Florida State. My projection is Florida State by 18, and it is let's see. Florida State 16.5, total 134.5. I'll take the over. Another New Jersey battle, Princeton Monmouth. My projection is Princeton by 3/8. And it is Monmouth by 1, total 144.5. Let's go with the over in that game. Baylor and Arizona State at 7:30 on ESPN2. It's Battle for Atlantis, number 6 Baylor and Arizona State. My projection is Baylor by 9 1/4, and it is Baylor 13.5, total 139.5. I'm taking Arizona State plus the points. UL Monroe and Louisiana Tech. My projection is La Tech by 23 1/4, and it is 16.5, totals 139.5. I'm going to lay the points. Oakland, Delaware from Hertz Arena. My projection is UDel by 7.5, and it's Oakland by 1.5. Wrong team favor. Give me Delaware plus the 1.5 and minus 104 on the money line. New Mexico highlights of Mexico State. We can skip. Now we're in the 8 o'clock window. Coastal Carolina, Toledo, we already did. Kent State and East Tennessee State. My projection is East Tennessee State by 3/8 from Mo Kent. And it is Kent State by 1.5, total 134.5. I'm going to go with the over in this game. Next up is Cal State Fullerton in Northern Arizona. My projection is Northern Arizona by 2.5. And it is Cal Fullerton by 4.5, total 142.5. Wrong team's favorite, taking Northern Arizona plus the 4.5 and plus 160 on the money line. Houston Baptist, Oklahoma. That's a line I forgot to project. It's Oklahoma 29.5, total 144.5. I would still lay the points with Oklahoma. That's probably how the projection would play out. Life Pacific, Grand Canyon, we can skip. Sam Houston and SMU. My projection is SMU 14 1/4. And it is 13.5, totals 139.5. I'll take the... I'll go with the over. All right, 8:30, Cal Baptist and number 8 Texas on the Longhorn Network. My projection is 18 3/8 for Texas, and it is 21.5, totals 138.5. I'll take Cal Baptist in the points. Cal Baptist, by the way, undefeated. Stephen F. Austin and St. Louis. My projection is St. Louis by 6 3/4 from Hard Rock, obviously, and it is St. Louis 3.5, total 144.5. I'll lay the 3.5 with St. Louis. Ohio State, Florida from Suncoast Credit. My projection is Ohio State by 2 1/8. And it is Florida 1.5, total 138.5. I'm taking Ohio State plus 1.5 and plus 112 on the money line. Texas Southern and BYU. My projection is BYU by 23 3/8. And it is, by the way, this game's on at 9 o'clock. BYU's number 18, in case you didn't know. 19.5 total, 138.5. I'm going to lay to 19.5 with Brigham Young. Butler Chaminade. They actually have a line out for the Chaminade games in the Maui. And they're playing Butler tonight. And no, it's not out yet. Oh, well, Butler should win that game against Chaminade. Florida A&M and UTEP. My projection is UTEP 12.5. And that's what it is. And the total is 130.5. I'll take the over. Vandy Pitt. ACC Network. My projection is Vandy by a half. And it's Vandy 3.5 total, 129. I'm taking Pitt in the points. Jacksonville, Minnesota. On the Big Ten Network, my projection's Minnesota 11. And it's 14.5 totals, 131.5. I'm taking Jacksonville. All right, 9:30 ESPN 2, number 9 Memphis, Virginia Tech from the Barclays Center. My projection is Memphis by 7/8. And it is Memphis 2.5 total, 140.5. I can't bet either side. Total, I'll go with the over. UC San Diego and Montana. My projection for this game is Montana 9.25. And it's 5.5 total, 139.5. I'm laying it with Montana. Whittier, UNLV, we could skip. All right, George Mason, South Dakota State. From Stanford, my projection is South Dakota State by 5 3/4. And it's 3. Oh, it just went up to 4.5. I was ready to take San Diego State, guys, but the line moved on me on the spot. I'm going to take the over 153.5 instead. Arkansas, Pine Bluff, and UC Santa Barbara at 10 o'clock. My projection for this game is Barbara by 32.25, and it is 26.5 totals, 135.5. I'll lay the points. Pepperdine and TCU. My projection from Jay Sarah is TCU by 7. It's 9.5 totals, 137.5. I'm taking Pepperdine plus 9.5 at even money. All right, 11:30 A&M and Notre Dame from Vegas. My projection is Notre Dame by 3/4, and it's Notre Dame 3.5 totals, 130.5. I'm taking Texas A&M in the points. By the way, Pepperdine TCU is at 10:30. And last but not least, at 1 o'clock a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific, Santa Clara, Fresno State. My projection is Santa Clara by 5 7/8. And it's Santa Clara by 4.5, totals 142.5. I'll gladly take the over. All right, now we'll look at the rest of the weekend slate. Battle for Atlanta, 12 o'clock on ESPN tomorrow afternoon. ESPN 2, the ESPN Events Invitational, Dayton and Miami. 1:30, South Alabama, San Diego from Vegas. Presbyterian, New Orleans at 2. 2:30, North Texas, number 4, Kansas. 4 o'clock, Hawaii, UIC. Central Arkansas, VMI. 5 o'clock, number 10, Alabama and Iona. 7 o'clock, UC San Diego, Southern Miss. Fox Sports 1, UAB, New Mexico. CBS Sports Network, Maryland, Richmond. ESPNU 7:30, Belmont, Drake. 9:30, ESPN 2, number 24, USC and St. Joe's. UNC Wilmington, Montana. 9:30, Fox Sports 1, San Francisco, Towson. CBS Sports Network, Louisville, Mississippi State. And at midnight, you have Georgetown and San Diego State. Black Friday, busy day. Battle for Atlantis, 11 o'clock on ESPN. And on ESPN 2, the Events Invitational. We don't know who they are yet. 12 o'clock, McNeese, St. Francis, Brooklyn. Georgia Southern, Georgia Tech. 1 o'clock, Southeast Missouri State, Incarnate Word. 1:30, ESPN 2, Battle for Atlantis. Las Vegas Classic. Events Invitational. Sanford, NCAA, 2 o'clock, Omaha, number 3, Purdue. Florida, MUC, Riverside. Bryant, Brown. Charleston Southern, Clemson. Columbia, BC, VMI, New Orleans. 3 o'clock, Tennessee Tech, number 15, Tennessee. Austin P. Howard, Portland, Montana State at 4 o'clock, Concordia, Michigan, and Ohio. The Vegas Classic, we don't know yet who those teams will be. Logan, Old Dominion, Miss Valley State, Ole Miss. Presbyterian, Central Arkansas. Oklahoma State, Oral Roberts. 4:30, ESPN2, Battle for Atlanta, ESPNU, Events Invitational. Southeast Louisiana, Purdue, Fort Wayne. 5 o'clock, Fox Sports 2, Northern Kentucky, DePaul. 7 o'clock, SEC Network, North Florida, number 10, Kentucky. ESPN News, Battle for Atlantis. ESPN2, Events Invitational. ESPNU, NIT Season Tip-Off. Eastern Kentucky, West Virginia. UC San Diego, UNC Wilmington. Portland State, Iowa. Penn State, LSU, and Emerald Coast Classic. Lehigh, Virginia, Western Michigan, Florida Gulf Coast. 7:30, Vegas Invitational. 8 o'clock, Texas Rio Grande, number 14, Illinois. Moore State, Arkansas State. Alcorn State, Southern Illinois. Little Rock, Tulsa. 9 o'clock, Bakersfield, Boise. ESPNU, Paycom, Wooded, Legacy. Hastings, Wyoming. Wichita, Missouri. 9:30, Las Vegas Invitational. ESPN2, NIT Season Tip-Off. Southern Miss, Montana. Oregon State, Wake, Emerald Coast Classic on CBS Sports Network. 10 o'clock, Arkansas, Pine Bluff Pacific. 10:30, ESPN Continental Tire Challenge. Great game. Number 5, Duke. Number 1, Gonzaga. Gonzaga's getting so many big games early. I love it. They killed UCLA last night, and this Duke game is humongous. And then on ESPN2 at 11:30, you have the Paycom Wooded Legacy. All right, Saturday's big day. 10 o'clock a.m. Bahamas Championship. 11 a.m. Emerald Coast Classic. 12 o'clock Jackson State, Louisiana. FS2. St. Peter's, Providence. 12:30 TBD. 1 o'clock Tennessee Martin, Western Kentucky. Fisher College, UMass Lowell. Montana State, Incarnate Word. Coppin State, East Carolina. Jacksonville State, Elon. Marist Army. Indiana State, Ball State. 1:30 San Francisco, Pennsylvania, Sanford. Emerald Coast Classic, TBD. 2 o'clock, Northern Iowa, number 16, St. Bonaventure. Milligan, Mercer. Southwest Christian, Nichols. Chow and High Point. Western Carolina, Gardner-Webb. Navy, Mount St. Mary's. Delaware State, LIU. North Colorado, Colorado State. Detroit, Hofstra. South Dakota, Nebraska. Oklahoma, UCF. Robert Morris, Davidson. Louisiana Tech, NC State. UMBC, Pitt. Rutgers, UMass. Monmouth, Cincinnati. 3 o'clock, Penn State. Burr-Ren, Cleveland State. Southeast Missouri State, Portland, Miami of Ohio, Western Illinois. Apprentice, NC Central. Bryan, MTSU. Campbell, Stetson, St. Mary's, Texas A&M, Corpus Christi. Maine, Bradley. Mary Baldwin, William & Mary at 4. Emerald Coast Classic at 4. Lee's McRae, East Tennessee State. Furman, SC, Upstate. Idaho State Air Force. Regular Charleston at Chattanooga. Georgia State, Rhode Island. Lamar, Texas Tech. NJIT, St. John's on FS2. 4:30, Western Michigan and Purdue, Fort Wayne. 5 o'clock, number 2, UCLA, UNLV. Vermont, UNC Greensboro. Northeastern, Harvard. New Hampshire, Holy Cross. Maryland, Eastern Liberty. Denver, Utah Valley. 6 o'clock, FSU, SAU, Edwardsville, Creighton. Grand Canyon, Pepperdine, Coastal Georgia. Jacksonville at 6. 7, Delaware, Temple. Southeast Louisiana, Florida Gulf Coast. Emerald Coast Classic. Morehead State, Kansas City. Trinity, Illinois, Valpo. University of Wisconsin, Green Bay. Marshall, Indiana on Big Ten Network. McMurray, Abilene Christian. 7:30, Sacramento State, number 17, Arizona. Eastern Washington, Washington State. UC Irvine, Santa Clara. 8 o'clock, Idaho, North Dakota State. Fox Sports 2, Northern Illinois, Marquette. 9 o'clock, UT Arlington, Utah State. Purdue, Northwestern, and Illinois State. Weber State, Dixie State. 18 BYU, Utah State. 9:30 on Pac-12 Network. 10 o'clock, Pac-12 Network, Winthrop, Washington. St. Thomas, Minnesota, Seattle. San Diego Christian, Cal Baptist, and Prairie View, LMU. And then Sunday, a little less. 10:30 ESPNU, ESPN Events Invitational. 12 o'clock Fox Sports 1, Bethune-Cookman, number 21, Seton Hall. SEC Network, Troy, number 23, Florida. North Florida, FIU. 1 o'clock ESPN Events Invitational. Merrimack, BU. SC Missouri State, Montana State, Fordham, and Central Connecticut. Stony Brook, Yale. 1:30 Western Michigan and Southeast Louisiana. 2 o'clock Citadel, FC State. Alcorn State, Milwaukee. Evansville, Eastern Illinois. James Madison, FAU. American Duquesne. Hartwick, Binghamton. William, Maryland, Fairfield. Ryder, South Carolina, Siena, Buckdell. Eastern Michigan, DePaul on Fox Sports 1. Chicago State, Bowling Green. 3 o'clock Franklin, Bellarmine. Southern Tennessee State. Portland, Incarnate Word. Yale, Monroe, SMU. Northern Alabama, Alabama State at 3:30. 4 o'clock Penn at number 13, Arkansas. ESPN2 Events Invitational. UMKC, Arkansas State. Fairleigh Dickinson, Princeton, Dartmouth, Bryant, Wofford, Georgia, Stephen F. Austin, Northwestern State, Charleston Southern, Kennesaw State, Brown, Quinnipiac, 4:30 St. Andrews, and UNC Asheville, Eastern Kentucky, Radford, 5 o'clock Kentucky Christian, Lipscomb, Academy of Art, UC Davis, North Dakota, Kansas State, 6 o'clock ESPN 2, number 7 Villanova, LaSalle, Cal State, Northridge, San Diego, Purdue, Fort Wayne, Florida Gulf Coast, 6:30 ESPNU Events Invitational, 7 o'clock St. Francis, Pennsylvania, Lehigh, Pac-12 Network, Stanford, Colorado, ESPN 2 at 8 o'clock on Sunday night, Hampton, Norfolk State, 9 o'clock Pac-12 Network, Fresno State, Cal, and 10:30 ESPNU, Grambling, and Morgan State. Wow, college basketball very busy. Now we'll move on to the NBA, where we will recap last night's games and look ahead to tonight and the rest of the weekend. Heat over the Pistons, 100-92. Knicks over the Lakers, 106-100. Blazers over the Nuggets, 119-100. And the Mavs over the Clippers, 112-104 in overtime, in what was a phenomenal game, as Paul George hit a game-tying 3 at the buzzer at the end of regulation to force OT, but ultimately Luka Doncic and the Mavs prevailed. Now we look ahead to tonight. At 7 o'clock, you have the Suns and the Cavs. My projection is the Suns by 14, total of 210 3/4, and it is 7 and 210.5. I'm going to lay the 7 with the Suns. Lakers Pacers. My projection is Lakers by 1, total 217.55. Meanwhile, the Pacers are favored by 3.5, total 218. LeBron's back. AD questionable. Westbrook's going to play. I don't get why Indy's favored, but I'm taking the Lakers plus 3.5 and plus 130 straight up. But if LeBron James backs, the Lakers will win the game. That's just facts. Hornets Magic. My projection is Hornets 13, total 218.5. Meanwhile, it is 7.5 and 218.5. I'm going to lay to 7.5 with the Hornets. Nets Celtics. My projection is Boston by 1, total 213.8. Meanwhile, it's Nets by 1, total 215.5. I'm going to take Boston in the 1 and minus 102 to win straight up. Big game for the Celtics. They got to win this game on ESPN tonight. 8 o'clock. The Bulls and the Rockets. My projection is the Bulls by 12, total 211.3. Meanwhile, it is 8.5 and 213. I'm going to lay to 8.5 with the Bulls. Raptors Grizzlies. My projection is Memphis by 6, total 218.3. And it's 3 and 219.5. I'm going to lay to 3 with the Grizzlies. 8 o'clock Pistons Bucks. My projection is the Bucks by 17.5, total 211.3. Meanwhile, it's 14.5 and 213.5. I'm going to lay it with the Bucks. The totals have been really close in these projections. Heat Timberwolves. My projection is the Heat by 5.25 to total 211.55. Meanwhile, it's Minnesota 1.5, total 212.5. Who's not playing for the Heat that we don't know about? That is the dumbest line I've seen all day. I'm taking the Heat plus 1.5 and even money to win straight up. Wizards Pelicans. My projection is the Pelicans getting 11.5, total 209.9. Meanwhile, it's 4 and 208. I'm going to lay to 4 at the Wiz. Jazz Thunder. My projection is the Jazz by 13.5, total 210.3. Meanwhile, it is 12.5 and 209.5. Very close all around, 1 point and less than 1 point. So I'm doing a slight lean to the Jazz. 8:30, the Hawks at the Spurs. My projection is the Hawks by 5.25, total 217.9. Meanwhile, it's Hawks 4, total 221.5. I'm going to take the under. 10 o'clock ESPN, game of the night, 76ers Warriors. It's not really the game of the night because there's no Embiid and no Simmons. My projection is Warriors 16, total 214.3. Meanwhile, it is Golden State by 10.5, total 217.5. I'm going to lay to 10.5 with Golden State. And then last but not least, Trailblazers Kings. My projection is Portland by 3.25, total 218.95. Meanwhile, it's 2 and 225. I'm going to take the under in that game. All right, no games on Thursday. On Friday, 3:30 Pistons Clippers, 7 o'clock Timberwolves Hornets Suns Knicks, Bulls Magic, 8 o'clock Raptors Pacers, Hawks Grizzlies, Wizards Thunder, 8:30 Celtics Spurs, 9 o'clock NBA TV Bucks Nuggets, Pelicans Jazz, 10 o'clock Trailblazers Warriors, and 10:30 Kings Lakers. Saturday, 6 o'clock, Timberwolves, 76ers, 7:30, Knicks, Hawks. NBA TV, Suns, Nets. And then 8 o'clock is the Magic at the Cavs, the Heat at the Bulls, Hornets, Rockets, 8:30, Wizards, Mavs, and 9 o'clock, Pels, Jazz. And then Sunday, 3:30, Warriors, Clippers, 5 o'clock, Bucks, Pacers, 6 o'clock, Celtics, Raptors, Kings, Grizzlies, and 9:30, you have the Pistons at the Lakers, so the Staples Center doubleheader on Sunday. All right, NHL time. We will recap the games from last night, and we look ahead to a busy day today, busy day Friday, and the weekend. Lightning over the Flyers 4-0. Stars over the Oilers 4-1, and the Flames over the Blackhawks 5-2. All right, big day today, 7 o'clock. You have the Bruins and the Sabres. Boston is a huge favorite. Minus 250. Buffalo plus 202. Over under 5.5. Overs minus 105. Unders minus 414. Boston minus 1.5 is plus 112. Buffalo plus 1.5 is minus 138. Betting against Buffalo on the opposing team's puck line has been the move, with the exception of the Ranger game the other night. So I'm going to take Boston minus 1.5 and plus 112. Flyers, Panthers. Panthers minus 235. The Flyers plus 190. Over under 6.5. Overs minus 102. Unders minus 120. Flyers plus 1.5 is minus 132. Panthers minus 1.5 is plus 108. I think this is either a Panthers blowout or this game goes to OT. I'm going to go with Florida minus 1.5 and plus 108. Wild Devils. Wild minus 118. The Devils are minus 102. Over under 6.5. Overs plus 104. Unders minus 128. Wild minus 1.5 is plus 220. Devils plus 1.5 is minus 280. The Wild have been iffy of late, kind of not playing well. So I'm going to take them on the money line, minus 118 against the Devils. If they don't win here, then they're a no bet for a while. NHL Network, Canucks, Penguins. Ooh, interesting. Penguins minus 230, Vancouver plus 188, over under 6. Overs even money, unders minus 122. Vancouver plus 1.5 is minus 144. Pittsburgh minus 1.5 is plus 118. The Penguins have been playing a lot better hockey of late. Right back in the mix for the wild card in the Eastern Conference. And they're very close, inching towards top 3 in the Metro, too. So I'm going to do Penguins puck line minus 1.5 at plus 118. Capitals hosting the Canadians. Washington minus 205. Montreal plus 168. Over under 6. Minus 110 each way. Caps plus 1.5. Or minus 1.5 is plus 124. Montreal plus 1.5 is minus 152. I'm going to go under 6 for my pick for this game. I think it's a low-scoring game. Jets, Blue Jackets. Jets minus 142. Columbus plus 118. Over under 5.5. Minus 110 each way. Jets minus 1.5 is plus 186. Columbus plus 1.5 is minus 235. Keep doubting the Blue Jackets, people. I'm taking them plus 118 to win straight up. 7:30, Blues, Red Wings. Blues minus 146. Detroit plus 122. Over under 5.5. Overs minus 118. Unders minus 104. Blues minus 1.5 is plus 172. Red Wings plus 1.5 is minus 215. I'm going to go with the Blues in regulation at plus 110. I just like that pick a lot. Islanders, Rangers. Rangers minus 125. Islanders plus 104. Over under 5.5. Overs even money. Unders minus 122. Rangers minus 1.5 is plus 210. Islanders plus 1.5 is minus 265. Igor Shesterkin, the starting goalie for the Rangers, never plays well against the Islanders. If he is starting in goal, the Islanders plus 104 is a no-brainer to me. If it's Alexander Georgiev in goal for the Rangers, I might go with either Rangers in regulation at plus 125 or the draw at even money, at 3-1. But I'll probably go Rangers in regulation if it's Georgiev, and if it's Shesterkin, I'm going with the Islanders plus 104. It's just Shesterkin shaky always against the Islanders for some reason. 8 o'clock, the Golden Knights and the Predators. The Preds are minus 120. Vegas is even money, over under 5.5. Overs minus 114. Unders minus 106. Vegas plus 1.5 is minus 265. Nashville minus 1.5 is plus 210. I'm going to go with the draw on this one. 3-1. The tie after regulation. I like that pick a lot. 9 o'clock, the Ducks and the Avalanche. The Avs are minus 245. The Ducks are plus 198. Over under 5.5. Overs minus 120. Unders minus 102. Ducks plus 1.5 is minus 130. Abs minus 1.5 is plus 106. I'm going to go tough one here. Because the Ducks are playing so well, and the Abs have just been underachieving by all accounts. For this game, I'm going to go with the Ducks to win straight up at plus 198. That's the upset special of the night. 10 o'clock, the Oilers and the Coyotes. Edmonton minus 230, the Coyotes plus 188, over under 6, overs minus 115, under minus 105. Oilers minus 1.5 is plus 116, Coyotes plus 1.5 is minus 144. I'm going with the over. I think the Oilers' offense bounces back, and the Coyotes just stink. 10 o'clock on TNT, the Maple Leafs and the Kings. The Leafs are minus 178, the Kings are plus 146, over under 5.5, overs plus 102, unders minus 128. The Leafs minus 1.5 is plus 152, the Kings plus 1.5 is minus 188. I'm going to go with the Leafs in regulation at minus 110 against the Kings. Hurricanes, Kraken. The Hurricanes are minus 154. The Kraken are plus 128, over under 5.5. Overs minus 122, unders even money. Canes minus 1.5 is plus 164. Kraken plus 1.5 is minus 205. I'm going with the Canes in regulation at even money. And 10:30, you have the Sharks hosting the Sens. The Sharks are minus 192. The Sens are plus 156 or plus 158, over under 6. Overs minus 105, unders minus 115. Sens plus 1.5 is minus 164. Sharks minus 1.5 is plus 134. This one I'm going to go... Ooh. Let's go with the Sharks puck line. Minus 1.5 is plus 134. I know it's a ballsy pick, but that's where I want to go. All right, Friday, big day. 1 o'clock, ABC, Rangers, Bruins. That's a big game, so I'm just going to pick it straight up. I'm going to say that the Bruins win this game. The Rangers they never win on Black Friday, it feels like. When they have their Black Friday game in Boston, they never win. This used to be NBC's game every year, Rangers at Bruins or Rangers at Flyers. Sometimes it's Bruins at Flyers or Flyers at Bruins. It's always between New York, Philly, and Boston. They always have like the rotating circle. And I'm going to say the Bruins get it done at home on ABC against the Rangers. 3:30, the Canes and the Flyers, the Blues and the Blackhawks, the Jets and the Wild. 4 o'clock, the Senators and the Ducks. 5 o'clock, the Panthers and the Capitals. 6 o'clock, the Devils and the Preds. 7 o'clock, the Canadians and the Sabres. I almost said Capitals. Kraken, Lightning, Canucks, Blue Jackets. 7:30, Pens, Isles, Avs, Stars, and 10:30, the Maple Leafs and the Sharks. Saturday, another busy day. 6 o'clock, Kraken, Panthers. 7 o'clock, Sabres, Red Wings. Habs, Pens, Oilers, Golden Knights, Sens, Kings. 8 o'clock, Blue Jackets, Blues, Stars, Coyotes. 9 o'clock, Preds, Avs, and 10 o'clock, the Jets and the Flames. And then Sunday, 1 o'clock, the Caps and the Canes. 2 o'clock, the Lightning and the Wild. 6 o'clock, the Isles and the Rangers. 7 o'clock, the Canucks and the Bruins, the Flyers and the Devils, Sharks, Blackhawks. At 8 o'clock, the Leafs against the Ducks. Now the MLS playoffs. We will recap yesterday's results and look ahead to the weekend within the MLS playoffs. Nashville over Orlando 3-1, and it came down to penalty kicks. It was 0-0 in regulation, and Real Salt Lake came out on top 6-5 in penalty kicks. All right, on Thursday, it's Colorado and Portland. I'm just going to pick the game straight up because of time, because we have to get to the big show, which is college football and the NFL. So, Colorado, Portland, I'm going to say Colorado wins, but potentially in kicks. And Sunday, 2 games, 3:30 ABC, or 3 o'clock ABC, Kansas City, Salt Lake. It's a great game. I think that's going to be a draw game, and I'm going to say that Salt Lake wins. And then Philly, Nashville, 5:30 on ESPN. That should be a fun game as well. I'm going to say that the Union win in penalty kicks. All right, college football. We'll recap last night's games, and then we'll quickly do picks for the rest of the weekend. All right, so last night, Ball State over Buffalo 20-3, and Western Michigan over Northern Illinois 42-21. I completely was wrong there. All right, so Thanksgiving, 3:30 on Fox Sports 1, Fresno State, San Jose State. My projection is Fresno State, 4.5 total, 48-7. And it is 7.5 and 51.5. I'm going to take San Jose State in the points. Ole Miss and Mississippi State, so the Egg Bowl, 7:30 ESPN. My projection is Ole Miss 2 total, 58-25, and it's Mississippi State 1.5 total, 62.5. Tough one, but I'm going to go with the under. And I also like Ole Miss to win the game, but under is the podcast pick. All right, so on Friday, 12 o'clock on CBS, you got Boise State, number 21, San Diego State. My projection is San Diego State by 10.5, total 45-7. And it's Boise 2.5, total 44.5. Wrong team's favorite. Give me San Diego State plus the 2.5. And the plus 112 straight up. Kansas State and Texas. My projection is Kansas State by a half, total 58-25, and it's Texas 2.5, total 52.5. I really like the over. Next up is on ESPNU, Eastern Michigan, Central Michigan. By the way, Kansas State, Texas is on Fox. My projection is Central by 3, total 61.95. And it's Central 8.5, total 63.5. I really like Eastern Michigan getting the 8.5. Next up, CBS Sports Network, Ohio Bowling Green. My projection is Bowling Green 3, total 55-35. And it is Ohio 5.5, total 48.5. I'm taking Bowling Green plus the 5.5 and plus 98 straight up. Utah State, New Mexico. My projection is Utah State 9.5, total 49-15. Meanwhile, it is 15.5 and 50.5. I'm taking New Mexico in the 15.5. That game's 1 o'clock, Fox Sports 1. 1:30 Big Ten Network, number 16 Iowa, Nebraska. My projection is Iowa 12, total 46-15. Meanwhile, it is a pick'em, sort of a pick'em, in 41.5. So it's technically Nebraska by a... That makes no sense. It's a pick'em, but Nebraska by a half, and it's minus 105, and Iowa plus the half is minus 115. That makes no sense. So it's essentially a pick'em, and I love Iowa. Like, love Iowa. In that spot. Next up is UTEP and UAB. 2 o'clock. My projection is UAB 3, total 49.75. Meanwhile, it is UAB 13.5, total 48.5. I'm taking UTEP in the points. 3:30 ABC, number 4 Cincinnati, East Carolina. Great game. My projection is Cincinnati 7, total 56-55. Meanwhile, it is 14.5 and 57.5. Give me East Carolina plus the 14.5. I like that pick. Missouri, Arkansas on CBS at 3:30. My number 25 Arkansas, I should say. My projection is Arkansas 5.5, total 60.05. Meanwhile, it is 14.5 and 62.5. I'm taking Missouri in the points. ESPN, South Florida, UCF. My projection is UCF by 15.5, total 59.5. It's 18.5 and 61.5. I'm going to take South Florida in the points. Coastal Carolina, South Alabama. My projection for this game is Coastal by 7, total 56.5. Meanwhile, it's 15.5 and 56.5. I'm taking South Alabama. UNLV, Air Force, 3:30 CBS Sports Network. My projection is Air Force 18, total 50-15. Meanwhile, 17.5 and 50.5. This is the closest my picks have been for anything. Is a slight lean to Air Force. Next up, 4 o'clock on Fox, Colorado, number 19, Utah. My projection is Utah 13, total 52-25. Meanwhile, it is 23.5 and 52.5. I'm going to take Colorado in the points. All right, so 4:30 Fox Sports 1, TCU, Iowa State. My projections, Iowa State 5.5, total 60.3. Meanwhile, it's 14.5 and 59.5. I'm taking TCU in the points. North Carolina and NC State. My projection is NC State by 8, total 61.05. This game's on ESPN. And it is State by 6.5, total 62.5. Close numbers all the way, but it's a slight lean to State. And last of the Friday games, 8 o'clock Fox Sports 1, Washington State. Washington, my projection is State by 2, total 48.4. Meanwhile, it is State 1.5, total 43.5. Give you the over. All right, now to the Saturday games. It's 12 o'clock ABC. Number 1, Georgia Tech. My projection, Georgia 17, total 52.3. Meanwhile, Georgia is giving 35.5, total 54.5. I'm taking Tech in the points. Number 2, Ohio State. Number 5, Michigan. 12 o'clock on Fox. Great game. My projections, Michigan by 3, total 59.7. Meanwhile, Ohio State is giving 8.5, total 64.5. Give me Michigan and the points, and I'm taking them. And then the money line as well at plus 245. I really think this could be it. Wake and BC. Number 18, Wake at BC on ESPN2. My projection is Wake by 8, total 60.8. Meanwhile, it is Wake 4.5, total 64.5. Close numbers all around. It's going to be, let's go with, just to be different, the under. 12 o'clock Fox Sports 1, Texas Tech at number 8, Baylor. My projection is Baylor 10.5, total 57.7. Meanwhile, it's 14.5 and 51.5. I'm taking the under. Or I'm sorry, the over. That's my bad. Oh my God. Number 24, Houston at Uconn, CBS Sports Network. My projection is Houston 19.5, total 56.7. Meanwhile, it is Houston giving 32.5, total 55.5. Give me Uconn in the points. Florida State, Florida. On ESPN, my projection is Florida 3, total 55.05. Meanwhile, it is Florida 2.5, total 58.5. Give me the over. Or I'm sorry, under. Big Ten Network, Maryland, Rutgers. My projection is Rutgers 3, total 51.25. Meanwhile, Vegas Insider, I have to check that real quick because it's Rutgers. Maryland 1.5, total 53.5. Give me Rutgers plus the points and whatever the money line is. Army Liberty. My projection is Liberty 1 3/4, total 55.9. Meanwhile, it is 3.5 and 53.5. Ooh, I like the over. I really like the over in that game. ESPNU Navy Temple. My projection is Temple by 4 1/4, total 52.2. Meanwhile, it's Navy 12.5, total 43.5. Wrong team's favored. Give me Temple plus the 12.5 and the money line as well at plus 440. Miami of Ohio and Kent State. That's at 1 o'clock. Or I'm sorry, that's still 12 o'clock. There's a couple more 12 o'clock games. Kent State 3 and 57.1 is the projection. Meanwhile, it's Pick'em in 65.5. Under. Akron, Toledo. My projection is Toledo 13, total 57. Meanwhile, it's 28.5 and 57.5. Give me Akron in the points. 12:30 Miami Duke. My projection is Miami 1.5, total 62.8. Meanwhile, it is Miami 21.5, total 68.5, and take a Duke in all the points. Louisiana Tech Rice at 1 o'clock. My projection is Rice 3, total 56.75. Meanwhile, it's La Tech 3.5, total 53.5. Give me Rice plus the 3.5 and plus 154 straight up. UTSA, North Texas, number 22, UTSA. That's a 2 o'clock game. My projection is North Texas getting 12, total 56.7. Meanwhile, it is 10.5 and 59.5. I like the under. Charlotte, Old Dominion. My projection is Old Dom 3, total 56.25. Meanwhile, it is 9.5 and 55.5. Give me Charlotte in the points. Texas State and Arkansas State. My projection for this game is Ark State by a half, total 60.5. Meanwhile, it's 1.5 and 62.5. Give me the under. Troy, Georgia State. My projection is Georgia State by a half, total 51.4. Meanwhile, it is 6.5 and 50.5. Give me Troy in the 6.5. I don't know if they'll win the game outright or not. Georgia Southern, App State at 2:30. My projection, App State 18, total 55.35. Meanwhile, it is App State 24.5, total 55.5. Give me Georgia Southern in the points. 3 o'clock, FIU Southern Miss. My projection, Southern Miss 5.5, total 53.2. Meanwhile, it's 10.5 and 45.5. I like the over. UMass, New Mexico State. My projection is New Mexico State by 3, total 60.35. Meanwhile, it's 6.5 and 58.5. Give me UMass in the points. Hawaii and Wyoming. My projection is Wyoming by 6 3/4, total 52.4. Meanwhile, it's 9.5 and 47.5. Ooh, the over. I really do like the over. Bama, Auburn. My projection is 12 and 57.8 for Bama. Number 3, Bama on CBS. No Bo Mix for Auburn, and it's 19.5 and 55.5. I still like Auburn, but I don't feel super about it because of Bo Nix being out. On ESPN, Oregon State at number 11, Oregon. My projections, Oregon 8, total 58.2. Meanwhile, it's 7.5 and 60.5. Slight under, or slightest under, I should say. On ABC, Penn State, number 12, Michigan State. My projection, Michigan State 8, total 49.1. Meanwhile, it's Penn State 1. What in the world? Oh my God. Give me Sparty. And then the money line at plus 104. Oh my God. Wrong team's favored. Western Kentucky and Marshall on CBS Sports Network. My projection is Marshall 3, total 62.1. Meanwhile, it's 1.5 and 73.5 under. Northwestern and Illinois. My projection for this game on the Big Ten Network is Illinois 5.5, total 42.95. Meanwhile, it's 6.5 and 43.5. Slight Northwestern. Fox Sports 1, Indiana, Purdue. My projection, Purdue 13, total 48.1. Meanwhile, it is 14.5 and 50.5. Under. Vandy, Tennessee on SEC Network at 3:45. Tennessee 13, total 60.05. Meanwhile, it is 31.5 and 62.5. I'm going to take Vandy in the points. ACC Network 3:45. Virginia Tech, Virginia. My projection, Virginia 5.5, total 59.5. Meanwhile, 7.5 and 62.5. Under. 4 o'clock on Fox, number 14, Wisconsin and Minnesota. My projections, Minnesota by a half, total 43.95. Meanwhile, it is Wisconsin 6.5, total 39.5. Give me Minnesota plus a 6.5 and plus 240. And the money line at plus 240 for Minnesota. Tulsa, SMU on ESPN2. My projection is SMU 10.5, total 60.65. Meanwhile, it is 6.5 and 61.5. I'm going to lay it with SMU against Tulsa. UM Monroe and Louisiana on ESPNU. My projection is Louisiana 18, total 55.3. Meanwhile, it is 21.5 and 54.5. I'm going to take Monroe in the points. Pac-12 Network, Arizona and Arizona State. My projection is State by 18, total 49-45. And it's 20.5 and 53.5. Under. A&M and LSU, 7 o'clock ESPN. Number 15 A&M, I should say. I project A&M by 4.5, total 48.7. Meanwhile, it is 6.5 and 46.5. Slight over for the pick. Middle Tennessee and FAU. My projection is FAU by 3, total 53-45. Meanwhile, it is 3.5 and 50.5. Over. West Virginia, Kansas on Fox Sports 1. My projection is West Virginia 4.5, total 57-4. Meanwhile, it is 15.5 and 55.5. I'm going to take Kansas in the points, but I know West Virginia needs to win this game to become bowl eligible. 7:30 ABC, big game. Number 10, Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. Number 7, Oklahoma State. Is game day there or at Ohio State? Game day is probably going to be at the Big House, I would say. My projection is State by 3, total 54-4. Meanwhile, it is State by 4.5, total 49.5. I'm going to take the over. Pitt and Syracuse. Number 17, Pitt at Syracuse. ICC Network. My projection is Pitt 7, total 57-4. Meanwhile, it is 13.5 and 58.5. I'm taking Syracuse in the points. Kentucky and Louisville. ESPN 2. My projection is Kentucky by 2, total 57-1. Meanwhile, it is Louisville 2.5, total 57.5. Give me Kentucky plus 2.5 and plus 124 straight up. SEC Network, number 23, Clemson in South Carolina. My projection is Clemson by 2, total 44-55. Meanwhile, it's 11.5 and 43.5. Oh, boy, I love South Carolina. And the 11.5. No, I don't think they're going to win the game outright. But I love that one. Next up, Tulane and Memphis on ESPNU. My projection is Memphis 10.5, total 59.05. Meanwhile, it is 5.5 and 57.5. I'm going to lay the 5.5 with Memphis. Next up, Notre Dame, Stanford at 8 o'clock on Fox. Number 6, Notre Dame, I should say. My projection is Notre Dame by 14.5, total 52-65. Meanwhile, it is 19.5 and 53.5. I'm going to take Stanford in the points to keep it competitive. 9 o'clock CBS Sports Network, Nevada, Colorado State. My projection is Nevada 7, total 55-4. Meanwhile, it's Nevada 3.5, total 55.5. I'm taking Nevada in the points. Number 13, BYU against USC, 10:30 ESPN. My projection is BYU by 10.5. Or I'm sorry, 10 3/4, total 58 3/4. And it's 6.5 and 64.5. Under. And then last but not least, Cal UCLA on Fox Sports 1. My projection is UCLA by 10.5, total 53-4. Meanwhile, it is 6.5 and 57.5. Close numbers all around, but I'm going to go with the under for this game. And now we will look ahead to the NFL games for this weekend. We'll start with Thanksgiving Day, 12:30 on Fox. Bears-Lions. I project the pick'em in 41.8. Looks like Jared Goff is going to play. And it is Bears 3, total 41.5. I'm going to take the Lions plus the 3 and the plus 138 straight up. If the Lions don't win this game, they're probably not going to win the rest of the season. 4:30 CBS Raiders Cowboys. My projection is Dallas 5.5, total 49.6, and it's 7.5 and 50.5. I'm going to take the Vegas Raiders plus the points. because the Cowboys have a ton of injuries right now. And then the Bills and the Saints, I project the Bills by 5, total 47, meanwhile it's 6 and 45. I like the over, even though the Saints have a ton of injuries. I just think that the Bills could roll them over, and the Bills will come out of their shell a little bit. And I think the Saints, even with their injuries, could potentially put up some points because the Bills' defense has showed some leaks and flaws within the last couple of days. Sunday, Steelers-Bengals. I project Bengals 4, total 46-2. Meanwhile, it is 4.5 and 45. Slight over. 1 o'clock on Fox, Bucks Colts. I project this is a pick in 51-75. Meanwhile, it's 3 and 51.5. I'm going to take the Colts and the points. And I think they're actually going to win this game outright, plus 134 on the money line. Next up, the Panthers and the Dolphins. On Fox, my projection is Dolphins 3, total 41-65. Meanwhile, it's Panthers 1.5 and plus, and then 42. I'm going to take the Dolphins plus 1.5 and plus 108 to win on the money line. Titans Patriots on CBS. My projection is New England 2.5, total 46-5. Meanwhile, it is 6 and 44. I'm actually going to take Tennessee and the points. The Patriots are playing very well right now. The Titans tend to rise to the occasion for these games. On Fox, Eagles-Giants, I project a pick in 47-05. Meanwhile, it's 3.5 and 46. I'm going to take the New York Football Giants, getting the 3.5, and take them on the money line too at plus 152. CBS Falcons-Jags, I project as a pick in 44-35. Meanwhile, it is Falcons 1, total 46.5. I'll go with the under in this game. I think this is an under game. Jets-Texans on CBS. My projection is Texans 3.5, total 49.95. Meanwhile, it is 2.5 and 44.5. Slight over. Next up is the Chargers and the Broncos now in the 4 o'clock window on CBS. My projection for this game is the Broncos by 1, total 45-4. Meanwhile, it is the Chargers giving 2.5, total 47.5. I like the Broncos plus the points and on the money line, plus 126. 4:25 on Fox, Rams-Packers, Joe Buck, Troy Aikman on the call. I project Packers 3.5, total 45.9. Meanwhile, it is Packers by 1, total 48. Ooh. I love Green Bay here. Love them. So I'm going to lay the 1 with Green Bay. And it's at minus 110 as the money line. So it is essentially a pick 'em, but I have them at 1. The Vikings and the 49ers. I project San Francisco by 3.5, total 48-25. Meanwhile, it's 3 and 48. Oh, my God. Playoff rematch from, I want to say 2 years ago. This was a playoff game. Kirk Cousins and company lost. Yeah, it was 2 years ago because that was the year the Niners made the Super Bowl. I have a slight lean to the Niners here. And a slight over, too. But Niners is the pick. Slight Niners. Sunday Night Football, the Browns and the Ravens. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth on the call. Ravens by 6 and 46-35 is my projection. And it's 3.5 and 46. I love the Ravens. Love, love, love the Ravens. Oh, my God. I love the Ravens in this spot. Minus the 3.5. And then Monday Night Football, we'll save for the Monday podcast. Alrighty. Now I'm going to do Best Bet. Brought to you by FanDuel. I am going to go with what I had in my head the whole time to potentially do for best bet due to injuries and COVID issues and such with the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm going to lay the 10.5 with the Golden State Warriors. 2 units against the Sixers. So that is going to be the best bet. All right, into what I'm going to call the Turkey 22 this year for the college football and the NFL. I'm going to pick 22 games inside of the Fab 5 this year. And I'm going to lay, instead of a full unit, I'm going to lay a half unit on them because it's more games. And I really like these picks a lot. The first one, I'm going to take San Diego State plus the 2.5 against Boise as the first of the Turkey 22. So San Diego State plus 2.5 is the first one. The second one is the over 52.5 in the Kansas State-Texas game. The third one, Iowa in a pick'em on the road at Nebraska. Next one, I'm going there. I'm going with the Wolverines of Michigan on Saturday afternoon, plus the points against Ohio State. The next one, I'm going to take Duke getting 21.5 against Miami. Next, the over, I believe it's 47.5 in Hawaii, Wyoming. Next up, Michigan State getting 1.5 against Penn State. And I think they win that game outright. Next up, Minnesota getting 6.5 at plus money. Yes, I said that right. Plus money against Wisconsin. Next up, Syracuse getting the 13.5 against Pitt. I think it's a potential trap game for Pitt. South Carolina getting 11.5 against Clemson. And then the last one of the Turkey 22 for college football portion. So we're going to combine Turkey 22. And we just combined them all. And it's 11 of each. Memphis minus the 5.5 against Toledo. And then the money line pick of the week this week is going to be Minnesota plus 240 against Wisconsin. All right, and now the NFL side of it. First, I'm going to go with the Raiders getting the 7.5 against Dallas. I just think Dallas's injuries is going to catch up to them. I don't think the Vegas Raiders are going to win the game, but I just think they're going to cover. I'm going to go tomorrow night, the over in the Bills-Saints game. I was just kind of talking myself into that one with the Bills' defense not really being that good and their offense potentially putting up points. And I know the Saints have a ton of injuries on offense, but I still think that the Bills could potentially do it by themselves. And the Saints have some injuries on defense as well. And the Saints all of a sudden are vulnerable on defense. So I really like that over. The next one is going to be the Indianapolis Colts getting the 3 points against the Buccaneers. The next one is going to be the Tennessee Titans getting 6 against the Patriots. Next up, the New York Football Giants getting 3.5 at home against Philly. I just think that it's a trap game for Philly, and everybody's poo-pooing Philly a little bit. The next one, I'm going to go with the under 46.5 in the Jaguars game against the Falcons, so under 46.5. The Falcons are an over team, but I just think that's an under game because of the pitiful Jacksonville offense. The next one is two bad teams, except I'm going with an over, and that's just solely because of how bad the Jets' defense is. I'm going over 44.5 with the Jets and the Texans. Next one, I'm going to go Denver plus the 2.5 at home against the Chargers. It's just like the spot for them at home against the division rival. Division dogs are always fun to bet on as well. I'm going to lay the points with the point with the Packers against the Rams. I just think this is the Aaron Rodgers I'm Aaron Rodgers type of game. And then the last one, was already the Turkey 21, but we'll make it a 22. I'll give out a bonus pick in another sport. And I'm going to lay the 3.5 with the Ravens against the Browns. And then the NFL Moneyline pick of the week is going to be the Indianapolis Colts plus 134 against Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I love how the Colts are playing right now. Love it. And then the bonus pick for the Turkey is going to be let's see here if I like any of these college basketball games a little bit that are overnight. Yeah, why not for a bit of a bonus play here? We will lay points with Santa Barbara against Pine Bluff. So we'll do college basketball in the Turkey 22. I know I usually like to do college football in the NFL, but with the games being uneven and such. And if I did a normal Fab 5, the last pick of the Fab 5 would be Monday night. But I don't want to carry the Turkey 22 into Monday. Turkey 22 is for me is Thanksgiving weekend. So I'll give you guys a treat and lay 26.5 with UC Santa Barbara at home against Arkansas Pine Bluff for the last pick of the Turkey 22. All right, so that's it for the podcast. I'll be back on Monday recapping Thanksgiving weekend and looking ahead to everything going on next week. Hope you guys have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody.